power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you to watch this review. I'm Sean.
I'm Aubrey.
You're watching BooVille TV.
TV. Today we actually have a twofer review for you furs.
A twofer review for them for
them furs. Yeah.
For them furs. No reefers, but that was kind of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna be reviewing a classic. Everyone has seen this movie. Just about everyone's at least heard of it, and even normal people have more than likely know. Yes. The Exorcist.
1973 classic. The goddamn Exorcist. The goddamn.
It was
the devil. Yeah. Okay. Loosely based off of a novel.
Loosely.
About a boy in the 40s who was possessed by the devil. The Exorcist. We're not even going to go into the plot because if you haven't seen this movie, then why are you watching BooVille TV?
Find a hole and live in it.
Please. A lot of people love this movie for various reasons, and we're going to go get into that. The version that we have is when they came out with the extended director's cut that includes the spider walk scene that was not in the original film, and it wasn't even on the VHS releases or DVD releases in the very beginning. Originally, when they first filmed it, they thought that it was too scary and that it was too over the top. But we're just going to go jump straight in because we're not going to tell you the plot because you should know this by now. So we'll start this way. When was the first time that you ever saw The Exorcist that you can remember?
I was a child. I don't know how old I was, because most of my childhood just kind of blurs together. But I was young, and it did. Let's just say it didn't scare me.
No, me either.
At all. I liked it, but it wasn't scary.
Were you, because I know, I up until recently, I genuinely thought, because you thought that it's funny, I thought you just didn't like the movie.
No.
Like,
I love the movie, but I just find it absolutely hilarious. To me, this film is a comedy. Pure comedy gold. Especially any of the possession scenes. It just makes me laugh.
Going a little bit deeper, sociological, and I think we've talked about this before. When this came out, this came out even before I was born.
Yeah.
But can you see, looking back, can you see how this?
Well, yeah.
There was nothing like this ever.
Yeah, there was nothing else of its kind like this, so I can see why it shocked and terrified. It freaked a lot of people out.
Yeah.
There had been nothing like it before, and that I understand. And maybe I know for a fact it's because I'm not from that generation. I didn't see it when it originally came out, and I wasn't a part of that mindset as to why I think it's so funny. Just because of, I don't know, whether the age or just the era of when this came out or how much more advanced movies and, special effects and stuff have gotten since then. But when I first watched this, and to this day, I love it, but it's hilarious.
Dude, the scenes that creep me out honestly have nothing to do with the devil. The scenes that creep me out the most are near the beginning when Reagan is going through the barrage of medical tests. And just to show you how far medical technology has come since the 70s. When they give her an MRI, you think MRIs make a lot of noise now? The damn spinal weird shit that they did with her, where they had her upside down and was poking the needles in her, and she was screaming and all of that. The one thing I think that the Exorcist does well, besides Oakenfold's The Tubular Bells soundtrack, I mean, that is a classic. You hear the first couple of bars of Tubular Bells, and even people that have never even seen it, I'm not watching The Exorcist, that devil, they know that song. Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, that's The Exorcist. And they know that scene where Father Merrin is standing looking up at the house. And we'll get back to Father Merrin for the second part of the review. I'll give you a hint. No, it's not the necklace. But I think because it starts off so innocent, and it's the relationship with Reagan and her mother, and it's just this cute mother-daughter, playful, this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden Reagan just completely changes. And I think that's scary for, or what would be scary for a lot of people. You know, your sweet little demure child now is screaming obscenities and rocking back and forth in the bed, and different voices coming out of her body.
And peeing on the floor in front of party guests.
So I can see why in the 70s that would be sort of creepy. Mm-hmm. You know, the mother-daughter relationship starts off real demure and calm, and then all of a sudden she starts just changing.
Yeah.
And, you know, peeing in front of guests and spitting the pea soup and like Jesus, fuck you, and all of that. And I think if you come from a Christian background, which neither she or I do, that this would be maybe a little more creepy to people. I can understand why in the beginning, when this came out, people were absolutely terrified because nothing like this had ever been seen. Any form of a possession type movie had never been seen. The DVD itself, the version that we have, it doesn't get really high marks for packaging because it's in a cardboard case with a little plastic snap. And this was supposed to be, you know, the special release with the spider walk scene down the stairs, which actually is all of about 4 seconds long.
Yeah, and I don't understand why that was too scary for people.
Why that 4 seconds? Because there's a bunch of boring in this movie too.
Yeah, and of all the scenes while she's possessed, why is that one apparently the scariest? Because to me, it's not. It's really not. I mean, there's nothing gross going on.
No, she's not, you know, masturbating with a crucifix.
No.
But they showed that.
To me, that scene, I don't know. I was confused as to why they would cut that particular one out.
I first saw The Exorcist, and sort of like a twofer for this review. It was a twofer for me because way back before you were even a glint in the milkman's eye, I remember seeing the international premiere of Michael Jackson's Thriller on MTV. And I watched Thriller, and Thriller creeped the shit out of me as a kid. So much so that, as you all know, now it's history. But shortly after that, Michael Jackson had to come out, and from every subsequent time that Thriller was shown, there was a prologue that he did where he talked about, you know, I don't believe in the occult or support the occult, and this is simply an artistic endeavor. But back then, people, even Thriller, people were creeped the fuck out by Thriller. And beautifully so. And it has etched itself, that song has etched itself into creepy kid culture. Not just for Halloween, even normal people, normies, play it as a Halloween thing. And the song from The Exorcist, from Tubular Bells, which is actually a beautiful album in and of itself. The reason I was getting into that is that later that evening was the premiere of The Exorcist for the first time on television. Oh. So I got to see the premiere of Thriller and the premiere of The Exorcist for the first time on TV. And as you can imagine, a significant portion of the dialogue was cut out and edited for television, especially in the 80s.
I'm curious as to what that sounded like.
It was still was a good movie, and I really, really liked it. The exorcism scenes are kind of fun. I do wish that they were longer, but for the time and the era that it was filmed, one thing. But for a classic, simply because it had everything working for it. The right music, the right mood, the right atmosphere, the most beautiful casting of Regan. Linda Blair, you could not have gotten a more beautiful little child to play the character of Regan, to play someone so innocent, to be so violated by the devil. For me, it's a 10 out of 10 skulls because it is a classic. This movie has endured simply because of those factors. And it still, with each generation, creeps people out. Doesn't really creep me out, doesn't really creep Aubrey out. We appreciate the film for various different reasons, and we both love it. But it has endured for a reason. So, for that reason, and the fact that I love the cinematography in it. I love the juxtaposition of the innocence and then the ripping of that innocence by the demon, Pazuzu, who you don't really hear mentioned in the first movie, but you do in the subsequent movies. So a 10 out of 10 for me.
For me, while it is a classic, while I love this movie very, very much, I love Tubular Bells, I love all of the pop culture that this has spawned, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because of the parts that that aren't focused on her exorcism or her being possessed are boring for me. When there's nothing else going on and it's just either just dialogue or the beginning before she gets, it's boring to me.
Wow. Wow.
The parts that I like of this film are when she's possessed. Because it's funny.
Well,
But that's just my personal opinion. I still love it, though. I still think it's an amazing classic.
so if someone said, we're doing, a triple feature tonight of horror movie night, which is, every night here in the crypt, but if we were visiting someone and they said, we're going to watch Psycho, Poltergeist, and The Exorcist.
I'd be down for it. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, I'd be down for it.
So you wouldn't be like, oh, God, yeah.
No, not at all. I mean, I love the film. Just the parts that aren't, about her exorcism or while she's possessed are, to me, just boring. Fortunately, though, the parts that she is possessed in far make up for that.
They're fun.
They're hilarious. They're hilarious. They're really fucking funny. I've seen this movie so many fucking times, and it just keeps getting funnier and funnier each time I fucking watch it. But...
And we quote it.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, but it has earned, the Horror Movie Hall of Fame spot that it's in. I could see if I were someone of this period when this movie originally came out and I was an adult then, I probably would, I might have been a little more creeped out by it, or, I don't know, it might have gotten a higher rating for me then, but...
Do you think the Christian... Because I really do. I want to talk about this for a second, because it's not just about reviews. We like to discuss, inner meanings of things. But do you think part of it is because it's... if you come from a Christian background?
What...
Or am I just making...
I think it does. I think part of it has to do with the Christian background, and you're so raised, and you can't say this and that because it's blasphemous. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out, and the whole entire movie is just blasphemy. Just all blasphemy.
Blasphemy, blast for you.
Blast for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think the Christian background that a lot of us were raised in, especially here in the South, has a lot to do with it. Of why this bothered so many people. I could see if you're not used to horror movies or you're a really sensitive person, I could also see, especially with the Christian background or belief system, this especially bothering you even more when you're not cynical assholes like us.
Yeah, well.
But.
So yeah, The Exorcist, classic film. Almost goes without saying that at some point we would have done a review of this, and we might revisit this later. at a future point, especially during the Halloween season, when we will work on, our top list of movies that you have to see with your family, your creepy family, for the Halloween season in the coming of Papa Samhain.
Yeah.
Incidentally, if you notice behind us, Papa Samhain is taking precedence, which is one of the rare times a year that he actually will get prime place here. This place gets transformed into his altar for the Halloween season. But for the next part of this video, to give you a hint on what we're reviewing, watch this clip. Did that give you a hint? Did it give you a hint? I had wanted this for years, and every year when we go to MegaCon in Orlando, which is a huge, it's getting almost as big as Dragon Con is in Atlanta, but for Orlando. And it's a catch-all convention. It's sci-fi, it's anime, it's horror, it's video games, comic books, nerd culture in general. And it's one of the few places, one of the few cons, like Dragon Con, where you can go and all of us freaks are sort of equal.
Yeah.
The anime people hang out with the Star Wars people. The Star Wars people hang out with the Trekkies. The horror fans hang out with everybody. And it's a wonderful convention. Well, one of the vendors that's there, and they do have a website, although they don't do much business, I don't think, on the website, but it's Arsenal Models, and we'll put the link down here. Arsenal Models, a lot of our props, patches, and things for Star Trek and some of the other sci-fi things we do come from there. Well, to make a long story short, they have a Pazuzu
Yes.
statuette
Yes.
that I have wanted for years, and I always found an excuse to not buy it. Oh, we'll get it next time, or if we get a Spooky Empire, we'll go ahead and get it to Well, as you've seen in the past few videos, at MegaCon this past year, we purchased it. So this part of the review is actually going to be a review on the Pazuzu statuette that Arsenal Models puts out. This retails through Arsenal Models for about $45. It is a resin cast of a sculpture, and I don't know if they did the original sculpture or if someone did the sculpture and then they did the resin cast of it. Like most resin casts, it's a one-part mold. So you have this, and the back is flat resin. So it's not a complete 3D all the way around, which is fine, because it sits up against a wall nice and flat and gives the illusion of a full statuette. It weighs probably 2 pounds, maybe. It's not that heavy. It is pretty detailed. It has a nice, you can't see it in this video with this camera, but it has a nice sandstone texture to it. It does come with this, on this side, it does come with the snake penis, which is very important for Pazuzu.
Yes.
Pazuzu, if you go back to Mesopotamian and Sumerian culture, Pazuzu was a demon that protected you against demons and good. And people would put the Pazuzu effigy in their home to protect them from other demons. Pazuzu could be petitioned for favors. We haven't tried that yet, But so far, he's kept really pesky, annoying people away from us. So far, he works.
Yeah, and because we don't invite them to our house, but...
That might have something to do with it, too. Your take on our lovely Pazuzu?
I like the weight. I do... Didn't they have an option like a painted and unpainted version?
No. They had the head.
Oh, they had
which
the head.
we need to get at some point. The little head thing. Head necklace, I think it was.
He has a good weight to him. I love the sand color. I do kind of wish it was 3D, but I don't know if the original one for the movie was or wasn't. I mean, it might.
Well, the original one for the movie was a huge fuck off statue.
Yeah, but you never saw. I mean, there was no way to like for sure tell what Pazuzu's butt looked like, and it makes sense as to why they just didn't do the back. I kind of wish they did. I kind of wish they took some artistic freedom and did the back of him, but I mean it's fine because we never show his butt anyways.
No.
I just personally would love to see some Pazuzu butt. What are you gonna do? I'm happy that I love the fact that we have him in our house. I think he kind of brings everything all together.
Yeah, Pazuzu. When people first come here to the crypt and they see, some of our horror decorations on the walls and dead Bela and Dennis in the corner and all these things, and then they see this. What looks like a shrine, and then they go, is that the thing from The Exorcist? Yes, it is. Oh. And we get one of two reactions. One is, oh, that's interesting. Or we get, oh, that's cool. Where the fuck did you get it? You can get your own Pazuzu statue for the low, low price of $45 plus shipping from Arsenal Models. They do have an online catalog. I've never actually ordered from them online. I always wait until I see them at MegaCon and then spend way too much money on props. They have everything from the Cobblepot key from the Goonies to Sailor Moon's wand to...
stuff from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
To V. They have the Visitor's Pistol, a lot of Star Trek stuff. Firefly stuff, Logan's Run life clocks,
66 Batman stuff.
Oh yeah, they have the Bat Phone. They have a really cool Bat Phone.
And Catwoman's gun.
And Catwoman's gun. But now, is it an exact 100% accurate replica? No, there are some discrepancies, and we're not really going to get into those. We thought about doing it, but we're not. We're very happy with this.
Because nobody else has this.
Not that I've seen.
So, you know what? There's problems. Whatever. Okay. Still, it's really fucking cool.
It's Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Which prompted me when we got this at the convention, when we went back to the hotel, I found a place online, and I can't remember the name of the company now.
On Etsy, I think.
It was an Etsy thing. And this is heavy. This Pazuzu necklace, this pendant, is heavy as ass. And I like having Pazuzu around my neck because A, it's a conversation piece, and people go, is that a butterfly? What is that? And then when you get to tell them about Pazuzu, honestly, I think you should get Pazuzu for your home as well, or your crypt, or your office. Keep away the pesky bastards. At some point, we might petition Pazuzu to, help us with some more money and cameras for this show. But skull rating, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yep, same.
It's Pazuzu.
He's amazing. He's fabulous.
You can do all kinds of things with him. You can take him on picnics. You can cook with him. You can put him in the kitchen and have him as like a kitchen idol. You can put him in your bathroom, like overlooking the shower.
If you have a daughter and she wants to play dolls with you, you can take Pazuzu and dress him up.
Yes, you can dress Pazuzu up as a doll. You can, even if you have a small child, make a little altar of Pazuzu in your child's bedroom with a couple of candles and let him or her know that Pazuzu will keep away all the bad people. Because he does. Mm-hmm. What better way to petition to get bad away than petition a demon who can kick other demons' ass?
Yeah.
Asses. Pazuzu kicks ass. Demonic or otherwise. So, 10 out of 10 from the crypt. We hope you enjoy. Help me here. We hope you enjoyed this review of The Exorcist and the Pazuzu statue from Arsenal Models. Find them at conventions. here in the southeast. I don't know if they make it up north. But get a Pazuzu and go watch The Exorcist. If you haven't seen The Exorcist in a couple of years, why not make tonight a Satan night? Why not even do like we do in the crypt? Sometimes we have themes. We say, okay, well, tonight is Satanic Cult Night. So let's watch The Exorcist, The Brotherhood of Satan, and Satan's Children. And have Pazuzu backlight him with some candles, make some popcorn or some pizza rolls, get yourself a drink or some wine, make sure you offer him some, and have a good satanic night.
With Pazuzu.
With Pazuzu. Pazuzu is your friend. Pazuzu loves you.
Pazuzu be with you.
Pazuzu, and also with you. On behalf of... I'm not Aubrey.
Yes.
I'm Aubrey.
I'm Sean.
And this is Pazuzu, and you've just been watching
BooVille
BooVille TV.
TV.
Pazuzu be with you.